everyone, this is Mimi from The Skin Deep. I'm currently proofing all the cards for our next round of printing. These cards are made for you to explore your relationship. So if you want to know more, you can visit our website at theskindeep.com/shop. Thank you very much.
Describe me to me.
You're very caring. You have a really big heart, and I think you always remind me of that, to have that heart. I think because we have so many kids in the house. Yeah.
That's why I have a big heart, because I have a lot of kids.
So no, I really think like with each kid that you give, your heart grows. Yeah, and I think how we were talking about that earlier, how you let like the neighbors' kids come over all the time, and yeah, you're just big-hearted and strong. Definitely wear the pants in every relationship, even in ours.
Literally.
So, yeah,
okay.
That's how I would describe you.
Okay.
When do you feel closest to me?
Every time you get in trouble.
What? By you? Like?
Every time you do something wrong, we end up having a deep talk and conversation.
That's true.
About life and why you need to not do this or do that.
Tattoo.
Your tattoo in general. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm not saying to get in trouble so you can have a deep conversation with me, but
yeah.
That's something that, you know, we do have some good talks at that time on, you know, why you shouldn't be doing certain things, or my life experiences. I always try to, you know, tell you about them because I want to make sure that you don't go down that same route and, you know, road, and you learn from it. And I try to be as open as I can when you ask questions about things. What's the hardest thing about being my daughter that I may not realize?
Love this question. Hardest thing, I think how you want things in a particular way. It's kind of, you used to say like it's my, or I don't know if you still say it, my way or the highway. Always.
That's an old saying.
Yeah, you would always say that. So, and I think I would get very frustrated with this sometimes because it's like, oh, only mom's way, like I can't. And I think that's where I sometimes would get scared to mention things to you because I was scared you would just shut me down. Even though I know now like you wouldn't, so I'm more open. But growing up, it was, you know, your way, and yeah, I would get scared. And I try to plan it out in my head what you would say or what you want so that I don't have to ask, so I could just do it how you want, which is kind of weird, but yeah.
That never changes with age. I'm 40 and I still do that with my
with
mom.
Your mom?
So.
Yeah. I feel like it probably won't change. You know, even if I'm about to ask you something, I'm like, okay, she's probably gonna say this, so I should just prepare for this answer.
That's right. Good, at least you know
Yeah.
exactly which route, and you should know better than to ask me things that you know the answer to already.
Yeah.
Good. What's something that I taught you that you now know is wrong or false?
I don't know. I don't know if it was you, but I think you told me at one point, like, love, you're good with quotes. You like to do, like, quotes. And love conquers all. I think you've told me that growing up, but...
But then again, I also did tell you with that last thing that sometimes love just isn't enough.
So I guess, yeah, that part is right. But I always kept that love conquers all part in my head growing up. But I think, it does not conquer all, and it's not enough sometimes. And I actually learned that through watching like your experiences, like growing up with you. I mostly learned my values, my morals, and what to do in certain situations from watching you and what you have gone through and your mistakes and your relationships. I feel like whenever you were in a relationship, I was in a relationship. So I think that's why people are always like, how do you know like these things, or you know what you want and what you don't want? They're like, shouldn't you date around more and know? And I'm like, no, I feel like I've been in enough relationships with my mom and her husbands to know like what I want, what I, you know,
I always tell everybody that you grew up with me, like I grew up with you, and that you went through all the stuff that I went through, even though I tried to shield you from, you know, specific situations and reasons on why, you know, my relationships didn't work out until you turned a certain age. And I feel like I did a pretty good job in, you know, not letting you see the bad and the ugly when relationships have problems because, you know, infidelity or drugs arise.
Don't know if you can.
No. But that's when I feel like, you know, love is not enough, because when there's certain experiences in life that are that detrimental to a relationship, then it doesn't matter how much you love that person. Sometimes you have to love them enough to let them go.
Yeah.
Because some people love in a different way. You know, they think that even if they can go out and do whatever they want to do outside the relationship, they come back and they still say they love you and they'll do anything for you. Maybe they will lay down their life for you, but that's not the type of love that I want to show you is normal. And so as hard as it was for me to leave those situations, because I'd have to have you see another failed relationship, I did that because in the long run I knew that if I just stayed, that was going to teach you that that type of love and relationship was okay and acceptable. And I always told myself that, you know, I put myself in those shoes, that if that was my daughter, what would I tell her? And I would never tell her to sit there and stick it out and stay if you know, if your husband is not being faithful or choosing to bring drugs into, you know, his life. So that's why. So, you know, love is a lot, but it's not enough. It's something you have to work at and work for. Okay.
What was the most challenging thing about raising me as a single mother that I am not aware of?
The most challenging thing was not only having to be the mom and dad and having to work and, you know, everything on my own, like bath time and, you know, your breakfast, lunch, dinner, all your school activities. That stuff was the most challenging for me. But above that was filling the void in your heart that you had from growing up without having your father in the house with you. I remember one time when I was dropping you off, you were crying and crying, and you told me just to split you in half because you hated going back and forth between the two houses. And after I dropped you off, you just asked me to, it was a nighttime, so you asked me to lay with you to fall asleep. And as I was laying with you, you were going like this with your eyes, trying to keep them open. And I said, what are you doing? Does your eyes itch? Does it bother you? And you said, I don't want to fall asleep because if I fall asleep, you're going to leave. Because I was leaving you at your dad's house. So, just watching you grow up without a dad in the house was the hardest thing for me. But it was good in a lot of ways because I had you all to myself. Right? You got to always look at the glass half full. You know, there's families like right now, you know, that like us now, you know, because I'm remarried, that your siblings have to go between, you know, I spend time with, you know, my husband and the kids. You just had me all for me when it was just you and me, because while we were together, I didn't date anybody until later, so it was always you first.
Yeah, I really appreciated that, you know. Obviously when I was little, I was like, oh man, I wish I had a mom and dad like everyone else in the house, but looking at it now, I honestly wouldn't have changed it because I enjoy our time together and our memories.
Yes. Last question. And we only did it through with one tissue.
I know.
What is one experience you wish we will share together in the future?
One experience.
No, not a tattoo. I'm not getting one with you.
Oh wait, actually, we could talk about this later, but I like.
No.
It came up in my head. I was like, oh, maybe. But Aside from that, when I have a kid, I want to share that with you, and I want you to, you know how like,
I thought you always said you didn't want to have kids. I'm so happy.
I really don't like kids that much, but one kid at least, one kid, and I want you to just learn, and for you to like tell me things, and for you to like help take care of the kid and just be present in their life.
Oh, I take that as a really big compliment that you don't critique my parenting skills.
I mean, okay, maybe, yeah, maybe not spend the whole day with grandma, but I do want to share that experience with you of just when I have a kid.
When you're like in your 30s or later, right? Not.
No, I need at least 10 years.
You always told me I never want to have kids, and if I do, I'm going to just adopt one that's like already grown. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I had other kids. If I put all my eggs in my, the basket with you, I would have.
Yeah, and I feel like every time you pop out another one, I'm having a kid too. I'm like, oh my gosh. Another hospital visit, another more diapers.
Don't worry, there'll be one more soon, hopefully.
Wait.
No.
I'm gonna start sweating. Oh my gosh. Too many kids in the house.
That is one little secret that I do want to tell you now, is that as many as we have now, we do want to still have one more.
Where's it gonna sleep?
Hopefully you won't live at home forever. So, that's it.
Okay.
I love you.
I love you too. Oh man.
Hey guys, this is Ashika from The Skin Deep. We're constantly releasing new conversations, and if you don't want to miss out, you should sign up to our newsletter at theskindeep.com/subscribe. Thank you.